Today, we're going to talk about a growth that can pop up on the surface of the eye. Now, it can look like just a bit of simple irritation, but it's often something more. And catching it early is absolutely critical. So let's dive into how doctors tell the difference.
A patient might just see a little redness or maybe a bump and think nothing of it at all. But for a clinician, there are all these subtle clues that can point to something much, much more serious. So what are those telltale signs, and how do they lead from just a suspicion to a definitive diagnosis?
All right, so first things first, let's define what we're actually looking for. The condition we're talking about falls under this broad category called Ocular Surface Squamous Neoplasm, or OSSN for short.
To put it simply, OSSN is what happens when the surface cells on either the clear part of the eye, the cornea, or the white part, the conjunctiva, just start to grow abnormally. But as we're about to see, not all abnormal growth is created equal.
Okay, this right here is the most critical distinction you need to understand. With intraepithelial neoplasia, those abnormal cells are contained. I want you to think of the basement membrane as the floor right underneath those surface cells. As long as the cells stay above that floor, they can't spread. But when they break through that floor, it becomes invasive carcinoma. Once that floor is breached, those cells can now potentially travel to other parts of the body. And that one single factor changes everything about the prognosis.
So how does a doctor even begin to suspect something is wrong? Well, it all starts with a close look during a standard slit lamp exam, where they are trained to spot some very, very specific signs. There are three huge clinical features to look for. First, you've got feeder vessels. We're talking a big, dilated blood vessel that's heading right for the lesion, like it's a dedicated supply line, literally feeding the tumor. Second is what's called intrinsic vascularity, which is just fine blood vessels inside the lesion itself. And third, and this is a major red flag, surface keratin. It looks like a distinct white plaque.
Now, these lesions can show up in a few different ways. The most common one you'll see is the gelatinous form. It often looks kind of shiny and bumpy, and people describe it as having a mulberry-like texture. And this type, it tends to grow pretty fast.
And then there's the leukoplakic form. Remember that white plaque we just mentioned? This is it. Seeing a well-defined keratin plaque like this is a really significant clue that this lesion needs a much closer look, because it's often a pre-invasive sign.
Now, when OSSN shows up on the cornea, it can be way more subtle. It might just look like a translucent kind of ground glass sheet. The real key is to look at the edges. They're often wavy or fimbriated, and they tend to spread away from the limbus, which is that border between the clear cornea and the white of the eye.
All right, so a clinical exam raises suspicion, but to really confirm a diagnosis, doctors need to look deeper, and this is where technology steps in to help prove what the eye suspects.
One of the simplest and most effective tools is a dye called rose bangle. Just a single drop will stain any unhealthy or dead cells on the surface a bright pink. And what this does is make the true boundaries of the lesion just pop. And you often find out it's way bigger than what you could see with the naked eye.
Now, for an even more detailed, non-invasive view, clinicians use something called anterior segment OCT. Just think of it like a super high-resolution ultrasound for the front of the eye. And on that scan, there are three key features they're looking for.
Let's break down what those three things are. First, the abnormal tissue looks thickened and bright white on the scan. They call that hyperreflective. Second, you see a really abrupt transition, like a sharp, almost vertical line where the unhealthy tissue just stops and the normal tissue begins. And third, there's a clear demarcation line that separates the lesion from the healthy tissue underneath it. Seeing those three signs together is a very strong indicator of OSSN.
But even with all these amazing clues, the only way to be 100% certain, and crucially, to know if that basement membrane floor has been breached, is to take a tissue sample. A biopsy, looked at under a microscope, is still the absolute gold standard for a definitive diagnosis.
So once that diagnosis is confirmed, the very next question is, what do we do about it? And the two main paths are either surgical removal or medical therapy using topical chemotherapy drops.
And you know what? The treatment decision often just comes down to the size and the spread of the lesion. They're classified by their diameter and also by how many clock hours of the limbus they cover. And getting this classification right is totally key to planning the right attack. So it really boils down to this. Surgical excision is the best bet for smaller, localized lesions, where a surgeon is confident they can get clean, tumor-free edges. But for the larger, more spread-out lesions, topical chemotherapy is usually the way to go.
The whole goal there is to shrink the tumor with medicated eye drops, especially when surgery just isn't a good option right off the bat. Okay, theory is one thing, but let's see how this all plays out in the real world. We're going to look at two very different patient cases to see exactly how these principles are applied. All right, case number 1. We've got a large, pretty aggressive-looking gelatinous lesion. That rose Bengal stain showed it was even more widespread than it looked at first. So, based on everything we've talked about, what's the call here, surgery or chemo?
If you said topical chemotherapy, you are absolutely right. With a tumor this spread out, trying to get clear surgical margins would be impossible. So the best approach is to start with those medicated drops and shrink the tumor first.
Now let's look at case number 2, a totally different picture. Here we have a small, localized lesion right at the limbus. And look, it has a clear feeder vessel and that telltale white keratin plaque. What's the call on this one?
Yep, this one is a textbook case for surgery. Because it's so small and localized, a surgeon can go in, remove the whole thing with a nice safety margin, and be really confident that they got it all.
Okay, so let's wrap this up. What are the key takeaways? First, always be suspicious of any new growth on the eye. Second, a really good clinical exam with simple tools like the rose Bengal stain is incredibly powerful. Third, that advanced imaging, the OCT, is an amazing tool to help confirm your suspicions. And finally, treatment has to be tailored to the specific lesion, and long-term follow-up is absolutely essential to watch for it coming back. It's pretty amazing when you think about it, what could be figured out from just a careful look, a drop of dye, and a clever scan. It really makes you wonder, what's the next generation of diagnostic tools going to be able to see, allowing us to find problems even earlier and with more clarity than ever before?